Got my cutter, got my torch. Pour a beverage and I step out on the porch. Grab a cigar, I love that view. I guess it's time for another Poolside Cigar Review.
How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to another weeknight edition of Poolside Cigar Reviews with Kirk. Tonight I'm smoking a pretty special cigar. This is a Padron, about halfway through it right now. Padron 1926 Anniversario F75. Now, if you've never heard of the F75, that's okay. It's very new, just came out in November, and it's a Famous Smoke exclusive. Padron blended this to celebrate Famous Smoke's 75th anniversary. You know, Famous Smoke started as a brick and mortar store in eastern Pennsylvania, and they're still a brick and mortar store in eastern Pennsylvania, but they also do online stuff. You know, they only make one size of this Padron. It's like a Robusto. I want to say it's 5.5 by 54, something like that. It comes in a natural and a Maduro, and I am thoroughly enjoying it. I'm going to do a full review on this cigar because it deserves it. You know, there's just a special place in my heart for Padrones, and this one is certainly, I'll go ahead and give it away, man. This one's certainly up there with the best of them. This is the natural. I'm loving it. It's not super full. Medium full. Pretty complex. But again, full review to come. I'm pairing that right now. It's a really good bourbon. You know, I don't drink a lot of bourbon on this channel, partially because I don't drink a whole lot of bourbon in my everyday life. I'm much more of a Scotch and lately rum guy. Rum I've only gotten into in the last year and a half, but I was always a Scotch guy and an Irish whiskey guy, but bourbon just doesn't appeal to me that much. But this is a good bourbon. I mean, there are some really good bourbons out there that I do like, and this is the Elijah Craig Small Batch Bourbon 12-year-old. And it's a little bottle. You see me with other little bottles from Flaviar. This did not come from Flaviar. This was a fantastic early Christmas gift for my wife. This is from masterofmalt.com, and it is the Whiskey Advent Calendar. So, 24 different drams of whiskey to enjoy during Advent. And there's been some really good stuff in here. The first day was a 25-year-old Glenfarclas. You know, if you follow me on Instagram, I've posted all these. I had a Glenfarclas, I had a Japanese whiskey, I had, what else did we have in here? I think the second one was a Japanese whiskey that was just killer. This, on the third, was Compass. Oh, this was a great one too. This is great Scotch. Compass Box, great King Street Artist Blend. So far, 4 days in, 4 big-time winners. So, a little late this year for the Advent calendar, but go to mastermalt.com and check that out next year. Maybe get it for yourself or get it for the whiskey drinker in your life, because what a super cool gift. I mean, I'm really, you know, my interaction with Flaviar and now with this is really changing my perspective on whiskey and how I choose to drink whiskey, because, you know, buying a bottle of whiskey is such a big commitment. And, you know, if you're going to spend $50 to $100 on a bottle that you've never tried before, I mean, obviously, for me, like, I do research. I don't just go to the store and buy a $100 bottle of whiskey because the label looks pretty. You know, I do research. I try to see what tasting notes are from people I respect, people I agree with, to see if I think I would like it. And then, you know, luckily, very rarely do I get a bad bottle of Scotch. Now, sometimes I feel like I overpay. Like, I'll open a bottle of expensive Scotch and say, I paid $90 for this, but it was really, to me, I'd maybe say $40 would be a fair price for how I'm enjoying it. But I haven't ever bought like a $100 bottle of Scotch and said, "Oh, that's not drinkable." doing it that way, I probably only buy 4 or 5 bottles a year because I can't drink more than that. You know, that's a lot of alcohol, and I'm the only one in the house who drinks it. And you know, I don't know if you feel this way. I don't have a lot of friends who drink scotch. I've got friends who drink, you know, whiskey and Coke. You know, so I keep bourbon in the house and Canadian whiskey for stuff like that. But not a lot of scotch drinkers. But you know, I'm going to get to try 24 whiskeys this month, and that's unheard of. That's really cool. I mean, that really broadens my horizons. And even though I mean, I won't remember all these. But hopefully I'll remember enough to say, oh yeah, I had an Elijah Craig and I really liked it. Or, you know, even just to get some experience on the palate, just to get some new flavors, just to see what's out there. Maybe there will be a few standouts that I'll say, you know what, I'm going to seek out a bottle of that. You know, I've had a few Japanese whiskeys now in the last couple weeks. I think the next bottle of whiskey I buy is going to be from Japan. Man, this is a good cigar. I'm going to go ahead and take this first band off. Good stuff. You know, I debated on whether or not I was going to grab this cigar tonight. Because I only have a couple. I only have a few. And this is an expensive cigar. I want to say it's $21 on Famous Smoke. You can buy singles, you can buy 3-packs, and you can buy boxes of 10. And they all work out to be $21 a piece. You know, Padron doesn't really discount their stuff too much. But full disclosure, didn't buy this cigar. Famous Smoke sent it to me. Thank you so much, Famous Smoke. I really appreciate it. But you know, even though I didn't pay for it, it was still kind of like, should I smoke that? That's a pretty special cigar. But I wanted to. And that got me thinking a little bit about smoking, you know, expensive cigars, special cigars, cigars you've been saving. And, you know, I'll tell you my experience, and I want to hear from you as well. To me, I have never smoked a cigar and then said, man, I really regret smoking that cigar. I've never longed to have a cigar. You know, it's like, oh, I smoked that cigar and now it's not in my humidor and I'm sad because of it. Always the opposite. You know, sometimes I smoke it and I say, you know, I might have been saving a cigar, had an expensive or special cigar, and I smoke it and I'm disappointed. And it's like, well, that wasn't that great. That happens. But I never smoke a cigar. I never smoke a great cigar and then say, oh, man, now I don't have that great cigar in my humidor anymore. It just doesn't happen. And if it was that great, then maybe I'll buy another one in the future if I get my hands on it. But even some rare limited edition stuff, vintage things, I've just never regretted smoking a cigar. So if you're like me, you know, I'm in a good place where all the cigars in my humidor are very solid, you know. So there's nothing in my humidor that I'm like dreading smoking or that I'm like putting off smoking and that I'm like, yeah, I'll give that to, you know, I'll give that to the neighbor. You know, I don't have anything like that. Everything I have, I want to smoke. So I spend a lot of time, too much time, trying to figure out what I'm going to smoke that night. And so to me, and I need to tell myself this because it's true. If the mood strikes for a specific cigar, even if it's an expensive one or if it's a special one, a vintage, you know, vintage stick you've been saving, if the mood strikes, you're like, man, I really like to smoke that cigar. Grab it and smoke it. You know, what are you waiting for? Life is short. And like I said, I've never smoked a great cigar and then regretted it. The only time maybe I've ever regretted lighting a good cigar would be if my time was questionable. If it was like, ooh, we might have to leave here the next hour if, you know, so-and-so calls. And then, you know, I get a phone call halfway through and it's like, shit, I gotta put my cigar down. And I don't know if that's really ever happened. That's the only, maybe that's more of a hypothetical in my mind. I feel like that's happened, though. I feel like I've had to put a cigar down prematurely that I was enjoying to go do something. Maybe like my daughter woke up. Maybe I'm smoking a nice cigar while my daughter's taking a nap. I'm sure that's happened. And then my daughter wakes up and I got to put my cigar down and, you know, take care of her. But other than that, you know, if I have the time and it's the right atmosphere and I feel like smoking a cigar, I've never regretted smoking a good cigar. So that's my advice for tonight. If you feel like smoking one of your good cigars, smoke it. But again, I guess that's all just personal opinion. That's for me, because I don't get my satisfaction from collecting cigars. Yes, I have a pretty good amount of cigars, and it's comforting, I guess, to know that I have a good selection of cigars and I've got a good reserve. That I know if I lost my job tomorrow, I could still smoke really well for probably the next 2 years. Not worry about spending money on cigars. I suppose there's that in the back of my mind, but I'm not purely a collector. Every cigar that I buy with the intent to smoke. I don't always know when I'm going to smoke this stuff. Like I've got an Opus X A, 9.5 inches long. I don't even really care for Opus X all that much. That is one cigar that I bought because it was just there, and I'm like, oh, that's a really rare cigar. Those are hard to find. I want to try one of those because I don't know many people who've smoked them. So I'm not like eager and dying to smoke that, but I also know when the hell I'm going to have time to smoke a 9.5 inch cigar. Not anytime soon, not this month. I love Padron. You know what I like? So that's one question out there. Have you ever regretted smoking a great cigar? That's question number one. Question number two. If you're a Padron person, your experience with Padron. Most of the anniversarios generally come in a natural and a Maduro. I tend to prefer the 26 natural. I prefer the 64 Maduro. How about you? You like Maduro for both, natural for both, vice versa? Let me know what you prefer with the anniversarios if you're a Padron guy. And I know not everybody's a Padron person, and that's fine too. This cigar is spicy through the nose. Deceptively smooth in the mouth. Wow, it'll blow your head off through your nose. And this bourbon has got one of the best noses of any bourbon I've ever had. I wish I could get potpourri like this. I would love it if I came home and the whole house smelled like this. It's just such a rich, oaky vanilla. Mountain's on fire back there. It's a couple miles away. I saw it driving home tonight. I didn't know I could see it from the back porch. It's pretty far off. I'm not really worried about the house or the neighborhood, but it looks pretty cool. Anyway, that's a side note. Hopefully your mountains aren't on fire wherever you are. I guess if you're in California, you got about a 50-50 shot at that. Well, I really wasn't planning on doing a video tonight. I was just going to smoke this cigar for me, but, the mood struck. I felt like I had, something to talk about and wanted to say hi to everybody. So, hopefully your December's going well. Hopefully you can get outside or get into your garage or your man cave. Absolutely your brick and mortar stores. Don't forget them. I've been plugging FamousSmoke.com, but they've been sending me cigars, and it's a great website. They got great deals and great cigars. Don't forget to neglect your local B&Ms. I always encourage everybody to shop local, whether it's beer. There's some distilleries in Tucson. Oh, shit, that's what I should have gotten out. Buddy who was here for my Christmas party gave me some local whiskey. So there's like some distilleries in Tucson now that I need to go check out. And so I got a mesquite smoked single malt that I'm like dying to try, and he brought me a good bit. So I probably should have had that tonight. Next video, we'll do mesquite smoked single malt next video. Yeah, I just wanted to stop in and say hey. I said the mood struck, so I thought I'd go ahead and make the video. But I think I'm gonna tune out now and enjoy the rest of this Padron Anniversario for myself. This is my special cigar. Padron cigars are my special cigars. And I know not everybody's into Padron, and that's fine. Because I've said it before, I'm not into Opus X. And that's like sacrilege to some people. But we've all got different tastes. You know, some people love Tatuaje, some people love Fuente, some people love Padron, some people love Camacho. There's all kinds of, people have their own preferences. So to me, my go-to sticks are Oliva. My special sticks are Padron. That's who I am and where I'm coming from. Anyway, everybody, I hope you're having a great December. I hope the holiday season's treating you well, and I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. So until next time, everybody, keep your feet in the pool, a drink in your hand, and a cigar in your mouth. Merry Christmas.